Good afternoon, everyone. So this video is initially intended for Jeremy Pounds, who is the new consultant at Namiad, but I figured I would record it and also share it with anybody who has access to our archives or anybody that takes advantage of our educational offerings. The DSBS, or the Dynamic Small Business Search, is very useful for finding potential partners for a joint venture or any kind of agreement between two government contracting firms, as well as determining who your competition is, what they're doing, what set asides they qualify for, and possibly even what their capabilities are. So you come to Google and then you type in DSBS, Delta Sierra, Bravo Sierra, and then the first thing that'll come up is SBA.gov. So you'll click on it and then it'll say choose the public SBA system. So there's the DSBS and then supplemental SBA pages and then the login to the SBA page. So you want to click this first one here, Dynamic Small Business Search. Now, just one thing that I want to mention, if you input search criteria that result in more than 5,000 companies populating, the DSBS will tell you that that search is invalid. So this web page can only display 5,000 firms at a time. And the reason for that is quite a few other companies use this, and it was actually intended for contracting officers to use to find companies to award contracts to. So DSBS limits the amount of companies that you can see because it doesn't want to slow the website down for not just yourself, but for other users. So I'm going to show you guys how to make a very refined search to find one company or find companies in an immediate vicinity that qualify for what it is you're trying to achieve. And then I'll show you guys a broad search, and then I'll show you guys kind of a search that wouldn't fly on the DSBS website because of too many companies. So we're going to start with the state of Florida. That is my home state. So click here, you scroll down to states, you click here, FL. Now, the cool thing about the DSBS is you can search not only in an entire state, but you can search in specific counties. So if you see here the direction state, select one state, then press lookup. So we've got Florida, that's our one state. Then we're going to press lookup right here. Then it says any county. So, we've got the first one, Alachua, and we're going to come all the way down here past Miami-Dade to 99, Palm Beach County. So we are now only searching in not just the state of Florida, but we're only searching in Palm Beach County. So this is the government certifications, I guess, kind of metrics or filter, if you want to call it that. So this basically allows you to check the boxes of companies that you want, or companies that possess the set-asides that you would like to examine. So this is useful for instance if you're a hub zone company and an SDVOSB and you want to work with a woman-owned small business, you would leave these two blank and not required, and then you would click this one to see woman-owned small business. Or vice versa. If you're a woman-owned and you want to work with a hub zone or SDVOSB, whatever the case may be, you can click that and it'll tell you. Or it will filter out companies that meet these requirements. So here it says ownership and self-certification. So if you notice, there's government certifications and then self-certifications. So I actually advise against clicking any of these self-certifieds other than other minority owned. And the reason for that is, it's self-certified. It's what people notate in the SBA, what they list themselves as, but the government hasn't approved them as such. And one of the most prominent and recent examples of this is the new WOSB certification. So it used to be that you could just be self-certified and you just denote to the SBA, hey, we're a woman-owned small business. 51% of the company or more is owned by a woman. But then I guess the government was running into a lot of false reporting. So as of April 2023, to be a WOSB, you now have to fill out paperwork within the SBA. And then if you were like Two Lions Aerospace and you were owned by someone else, let's say a gentleman like my father, for example, and then you wanted to transition majority ownership of the company to a woman to continue to qualify for the set aside, which is what we had to do. So my father signed over 51% majority ownership of the company to my mother, you need to legally document that and then provide that to the SBA to qualify. So again, the only thing that I would click in terms of ownership and self-certs is other minority owned, because that's pretty hard to lie. I mean, it's very clear and obvious if somebody is an indigenous people, it's listed as Native American here, but any indigenous person or a minority, it's pretty obvious. So then you can also do the specific nature of the business. So Two Lines Aerospace, our primary NAICS code is hardware merchant. So I actually have another tab here where I have the hardware merchant NAICS code. So we will copy that, paste that right there. So this allows us to align ourselves with companies that also work in the same industry or same NAICS codes as us. So this is valuable for us as a consulting firm because we specialize in providing products. So we want to focus on companies that also provide products. And then if you were in service, you could do construction, R&D, or services. And then even if you want to be in product, if you wanted to work with a manufacturing company or a machine shop, you could click that. And then minimum acceptable bonding levels. Bonding has to do with insurance for construction service contracts. And then if you also want to do quality assurance standards, if you want to make sure somebody is ISO 9000 or ISO 1000 or 10012, you can do that. And then mill standard as well. So size. So remember, to be considered a small business, you either have to have less than 500 employees or you have to make less than $25 million in revenue. So a lot of times companies will make $50 million in revenue and they'll be at 300 employees or 450 employees, and they'll make sure that they stay right underneath that threshold to continue to be eligible for set-asides. So in our instance, we don't want to work with companies that have more than 10 employees. Those companies tend to be larger. Um, every now and again, we will. Sometimes I'll come in and I'll train an entire, sales team. And I do enjoy doing that. But I don't like to look for those companies. I much rather prefer when I meet those companies through word of mouth or referral. So we're going to be looking at this under the guise of us looking for potential clients or leads. In the event that you, again, were wanting to work with a machine shop, maybe you would click, manufacturing, and then you would want to click at least 10 employees because we sell airframe structural components. And I know that to, successfully make those kinds of parts and that kind of material within quality assurance processes, it takes a lot of manpower. So in our instance, if we were looking for a company to make something for us, we would do at least 10 employees just because I know, hey, it takes, XYZ amount of people to run the machines, XYZ people to do quality assurance, certain amount of engineers kind of thing. So the DSBS is very flexible, and it allows you to be very specific and tailored in your search. The next thing here is capabilities. So I don't know if I previously mentioned this, but this was actually designed for contracting officers to find companies to award contracts to. So that's why where it says capabilities, it inquires, do they accept government credit cards? Do they, or are they on a GSA Advantage contract not required? And then are they an exporter of goods? So these are more so from the contracting officer's perspective. If you meet these requirements, you would note that in the SBA or when you create your SBA profile, and then the SBA would point that out. And then if you want us to search for a specific company, so I know one of our competitors is quite literally walking distance across the street from us. They also sell directly to DLA. We could get their cage code, or we could just type in their name, and we can find their specific profile, determine what set asides they qualify for, who's their point of contact, what's their official company name. Maybe we want to reach out and partner with them. And then profile status. So it says on or after. So we're going to do January 2nd. The first was a Sunday. So we're going to do that. So we want companies that their profile has been updated on or after January 2nd, 2023. That way they're still relatively new. The next thing is status or status, active or default. Active is the default, I'm sorry, or expired registration in SAM. I'm not sure what use anybody would have for this, but I'm sure contracting officers use it. They might do active initially, and then if they don't find anybody, they might do expired, and then if they find a company, they'd say, hey, go get re-registered in SAM. But we want active. We want companies that are doing business with the government currently, and you want to leave it as all. So all also sets the profile last updated to on or after January 1st, 1900. So I believe that this goes as far back as the 20th century. And then the next thing here is the search results display option. So maximum number of profiles to be returned at one time. So you can do up to 1,500. Again, remember the DSBS will only show 5,000 profiles at a time, but this discusses the amount of profiles that you see on your screen at any given time. And then you can also adjust the font size and then also determine what format the results will be shown in. So just a quick recap. We've got 50 on our screen at one time. We want profiles updated on or after January 2nd, 2023, fairly recent. We don't care about how they accept payment. We want no more than 10 employees. We don't care about their quality assurance standards. We would prefer minority owned, and we do want a WOSB in Florida in Palm Beach County. So let's search. Okay, let's go back to refine the search. So last time I did that, one showed up. Maybe we need to not do minority owned. So let's do it one more time here. So there's Palm Beach County, woman-owned small business, and we will take the hardware merchant NAICS code. We'll paste that in there. And then no more than 10 employees. And then we will do January 2nd. Search using these criteria. Boom, there we go. This is what I wanted. So we wanted only one company. So this is quite refined. They've got to be in Palm Beach County. They have to be a woman-owned small business. They have to specialize in the same NAICS codes as us, and they have to have updated their SAM within the past year. So this is very specific. So we got Global Direct Resources Incorporated. They're in Lake Worth Road, and they provide vehicle installation kits and accessories for major car rental companies, dealerships, and any other fleet-related industries. And then there's their email address. You've got their capabilities address. Capabilities narrative, and then you've got the address and city and state zip code. So this is a very, very refined search. Only one company, very, very specific. So if we go back, we can do Florida, and then we're going to do Palm Beach County. And we're going to do the same thing, same NAICS codes, but we are not going to do woman-owned. So NAICS codes are there. No more than 10 employees. And then we're going to do on or before January 2nd. And we want their status to show up as active. Let's see what comes up. So there's 23 profiles. So we've got 22 more. So Florida Bolton Nut Company, Audio Video Systems Inc., B&H Depot. This is actually funny. This is the company that I won my second contract ever with. But I don't know. They were selling me electronics. They weren't selling me locks. So yeah, then you've got a whole bunch of other companies. So you've got quite a bit of locksmith companies. There's some companies I see here that I've worked with. And if you remember, we actually filed this company in the Ignore to Award example of our day one on how to get registered in SAM. So that's a bit more refined, still Palm Beach County. I'm sure that if we did, the entire state of Florida, it would be quite crazy. So yeah, we will do one more, the state of Florida, and then we'll just do one more where we don't put NAICS codes, and then you see what happens when too many show up in the DSBS. So we've got the entire state of Florida. We've got all of our NAICS codes. We've got no more than 10 employees. And then we've got that date. So now let's see what comes up, because now we're doing outside of Palm Beach County. So now we've got 155 profiles matching these criteria. So we've got a little bit more than 4 times as many as we had last time. And then if you wanted to do one more, so let's just do California, for instance, get out of Florida. And we will just do California, and we're not going to put anything there except NAICS codes. Let's see what comes up. No more than 10 employees. This one actually might be okay because we're doing no more than 10. Yeah, so in order to speed up search times for everyone, searches are limited to retrieving no more than 15,000 results. The search you just ran would have received 19,551 profiles. You must enter sufficient search criteria to find no more than 15,000 firms. So boom. And that just lets you know that there's 19,000 companies in California that have no more than 10 employees that have updated their profile on or after January 2nd, the first business day of 2023. So that was just a quick rundown of how to use the SBA, obviously, or how to use the DSBS. And obviously you would tailor that to your company, your state, your NAICS codes, et cetera, et cetera. But I just thought that if I was showing Jeremy how to do it to generate, some organic outreach for us, I thought it would also be beneficial for you guys to see it as well. So that is all I have for you guys today. Ignore this infinity effect that we have here, and I will see you guys next time.